What is up, Geeks and Geekettes? It is another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast, and we're doing something a little different, but we want to make sure we kind of close the book on Avengers Endgame by talking to more of the individuals who've been a part of the Geekcast in the past, or some other Geekcasters that didn't show up during our first review. But we're going to go around the room right now. Again, I'm Steady with the Countdown to the Geekcast. With me on this episode is, you've heard him before. He was on the Halloween show. He was also on, what else did we do?
We did the Spider-Man multiverse.
Multiverse, there you go. With Miles
Morales.
There you go. We got Eliud. Say what's up, man.
How you doing?
Making his debut on the show, my one and only brother. Give it up for Derek.
Yo, what's up?
Are we calling you the coach on this episode?
Call
or
him
just
Fat
Derek?
Thor.
Call me Coach, the mascot for SAFC.
Thick Thor
drummer.
with 2 C's.
Thor Part 2 look-alike.
Thor's twin.
Hispanic Thor.
I got the beard, the weight. I'm set to go.
Just the 10.
So
that's the difference.
just call him whenever one of
Except the
those.
strength.
Back on the show again. You know him as the
It's
man, the
Hollywood.
myth, the legend, the one and only JC.
Hey, everybody.
And he didn't get to talk to us the first time about Avengers Endgame, but he's on the phone right now, calling from Hong Kong, the one and only Rob.
That's right.
Sorry,
I didn't get to talk to you guys, but that's mostly because I didn't want to talk to you guys.
Oh, man.
'Cause it was your
but
birthday.
Appreciate
Happy
the
birthday,
intro. Yes, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
It was a fine day. That's. However, there was a bit of a mishap. But that's for another episode
And I got no invite
altogether.
on your birthday.
We're not here to talk
Just
about
saying.
your sex life, Rob.
Well, anyways, so thanks for that intro. But we forgot to introduce our one and only Steady. Steady is the host
Hey.
of the show,
Hey, what's
and
up?
there he is.
That's true.
Don't worry.
We would not
Don't
be
worry
here
about
if it wasn't
how
for the
excess-
man Teddy.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. That's right. And you know him. You recognize him with the excessive speaking.
Oh my God.
Someone's got to fill in the time while you're sleeping on the show, Rob.
Wow.
Dang.
Nailed it.
He's laughing because he knows it's true.
Yeah.
That's happened one time.
What? Hey, I shouldn't have
That's all it
happened at
takes.
all.
And
Whatever
that
it
movie
takes.
was
I
that
don't
boring, I
understand
guess,
how
to
that
Robert.
happens. Period.
Dude, that's how long he talked.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But he's very entertaining.
All right.
we can do this all night. We can do this all night.
Yep.
So we've already given our Geekcast rating with JC and Mike and AJ now before, and Adi, who's also on the show
Yep.
during our free comic book day show at Dragon's Lair. Right now, we're at our favorite gaming lounge, Play Live Nation at Culebra Commons. We're probably gonna do some Smash later, maybe
Super
Smash
Smash.
Yeah, I'm
Brothers.
going to own
Going
this
down.
guy. Smash Brothers.
Yeah, then we'll play some video
Pikachu.
games.
Put
Yeah.
some put some money down or something, see what happens. But we wanted to talk Avengers Endgame one last time, just to close the book on the
That
entire
great of a
thing.
movie.
It requires more time, even though we spent 2 hours on it. We didn't get to talk about everything, and we didn't get any opinions from sort of the other side of the coin, which I already know Rob's on that other
There we
one.
go.
So it's going to be good for us to kind of have a different opinion on this show and not just, love all over it the entire time like we did last time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go around the room. This is our Avengers roundtable discussion. We're going to go around the table, and we're going to ask everybody here as well as Rob sort of their general thoughts, and we're going to do another segment of Bust, Must, or Just, and
All right.
give our initial thoughts on the film, and then we'll dive into sort of some of the themes, some of the plots, and all that. And Eliud, I know you're ready to go, man. So hit us with it. Bust, must, or just, and give us your initial thoughts on Endgame.
All right. I want to say, first of all, it's not a bad movie. All right?
Fair.
It's not a bad movie.
Fair.
It's just okay. So I'm going to give it a just. All right?
All right.
All right.
It's the movie was okay. I wasn't that impressed. It did have some good parts to it, but to me it was more the cons more outweighed the pros, let's just say, on my point of view. But that's just me.
Okay.
Very nice, very nice. Derek.
Disappointing. So I think it's a must. I think JC said it last time. I saw it as two parts of the movie, Infinity War and Endgame. If you combine both the movies, overall it's one great big movie. All the action was in part one. There was some more drama than action in part two, but I think overall it's a great storyline with the big hour battle scene at the end.
Very nice.
Thanks-
JC.
Thanks for listening to me, Derek. I appreciate that.
Must for me. I said it
Number one fan.
last time. Oh, thank you.
Hey.
Hey, nice. Fist bump. Nice.
He's gonna make you sign his lower back later.
Yeah, it's two movies. I mean, originally it was labeled Infinity War Part 1, Infinity War Part 2, and that's really what this was all about. So, give me one long cut with Infinity War, the Ant-Man and the Wasp end credit scene, the Captain Marvel end credit scene, and Endgame, and you got just one big long movie. So it was a must for me.
Very nice. I'll go to Rob next. Rob, who's joining us all the way from Hong Kong. Rob, give us your bust, must, or just, and your thoughts on the film.
So let me start off. Yes, I am recording from home. So if you hear any of the background noise, that's called real life. People's deal with it. So but as far as the movie, bro, could they have made a worse Marvel movie? I mean, let's be honest. Could they have done any worse? I guess they could have, right? I mean, they made the Incredible Hulk in 2008.
Oh man.
But I don't know, man. It was I have to agree with Elliot. Overall, it wasn't a bad movie.
Oh.
It just sucked. So
Damn.
Oh my gosh! I think Rob's turned heel permanently on this show.
I know.
I said this
enjoy this
before. I said this before, dude. And at the first time I said it, I was joking. But after watching it, I wish I was serious. I wish I would have waited for Redbox.
Or the link.
Oh, no
the
way.
bootleg version.
I wasn't impressed.
All right,
was
all
not impressive.
Was it the music? That was your complaint about Black Panther.
No, it wasn't the music. It was the overall performance of the movie. It was just lacking luster.
Oh, right.
The one and only good scene that got an A was the final battle, and even that was like, I don't know, maybe like 1% of the movie. Like, it's ridiculous.
An hour, but yeah,
It was a
1%.
third of the movie,
Yeah.
but sure.
Dude, it was not an hour. Stop it.
It was at least almost a third
Like
of the movie.
45.
I think it was about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
About 45, 50
Barely, man.
About
And that's
30%.
what, with talking? Is that with the talking?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Counts. It
Okay,
counts.
so take out the talking
Okay.
All right.
44.
from that scene.
44 minutes.
44 and a half.
All right. Steady, we know your thoughts. We'll go for it.
Yeah, so
Anyways.
I've already talked about this before. It's a must for me, and the reason why it was a must is because you had to do something drastically different, whereas you started the movie like in complete like despair, which is new for any superhero movie ever. And I wanted that. I wanted us to get there. And then the only thing that would have made sense and actually fulfilled my needs in this film was to do sort of a world tour of MCU films, which they did. They went through time, not just to get the stones, but revisit like moments in the past films that all the fans love to see again. And we'll talk about some of our favorites in a little bit. So it's a must for me. And other than that, as of today, domestically, over $723 million, which is up there already in the top, probably 5. Internationally, 1.765 billion.
Right? Yeah.
And then overall, worldwide, second place overall with $2.49 billion worldwide, which is only
So the-
second to Avatar, who's in the 2.7 range right now.
Yeah.
Those are some cute stats, but I got a question for you, Ted.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
How does it feel for your nose to be any browner than what it already is?
Feels pretty good, sir. Can't lie. Feels pretty good.
Okay, just checking.
All right, so I have a bunch of questions, and we can probably just get into some of the topics. I really want to hear from you and you and Elliot probably the most. No offense, Derek, but I've had discussions with people
I'm interested.
who've not liked the film, and I try to get their thoughts on it. I think we probably will agree on a lot of things, and so we can probably talk about some of the elements that you guys may or may not have agreed with. I liked. Well, name the first thing you can think of in the movie that didn't work well for you, Elliot.
The beginning of the movie, when they chopped off Thanos' head off.
All right.
Okay, well, it kind of goes into out the whole movie because the fact, so in Infinity War,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
we all agree that we loved Infinity War. I loved Infinity War.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that Thanos, that specific Thanos, all right, I wanted to see go down. I wanted to see that epic battle between that Thanos. You know, I wanted to see the Hulk smash.
Yeah.
That Thanos. All right. So when they automatically killed him in the beginning of the movie, I honestly thought it was a joke. I thought it was like him pulling a reality stone on them and making everything all kind of, their reality so he could get away. But I mean, no, that was it. They killed him in the movie.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, the Thanos that they defeated at the end did not seem like the Thanos that we built to love and hate in Infinity War.
Yeah.
It felt like a different Thanos. He didn't even know what was going on, kind of deal. He was just there for some stones. And it was this big grudge against Thanos that the Avengers had when Thanos came in, not even knowing what was going on. Like honestly, when Scarlet Witch said it the best, she's like, I'm here. When she came out, she's like, you took everything from me. And Thanos was like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, I
should have said it that
I
way.
started laughing my ass off. I was like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, that was perfect. Like, I seriously cracked up. Like, Thanos didn't know what was going on. So it just kind of, it took it took the vengeance out of the whole plot for me. It did not feel the same. I
On
felt
her
like I
end,
was
it took the
cheating.
vengeance out.
No. I felt like as the Avengers itself, like I felt like it wasn't a vengeful revenge on Thanos for doing everything that he did in the first movie.
I hear what you're saying.
That's why I was just kind of like, okay, I get where this story's going. I get that they brought back an old Thanos to
Younger
do that.
Thanos.
A younger
That's the
Thanos.
key there.
Okay, sure, a younger
Yeah.
Thanos, but
Probably stronger.
That's my thought.
no, because he didn't have the Infinity Stones. So
Neither did old Thanos.
But he was
yes, he
nat-
did. So when
No.
when
Hold on.
Spider-Man
Well,
and all them
I
fought
mean,
him,
in this movie,
yeah, he didn't have the
he didn't have the
Infinity-
stones.
No, he didn't.
And
and he was half dead.
And you know
basically.
why though? I mean, the reason why I actually did like the beginning was because that is that Thanos. No matter what gets in his way, he was gonna win. Got to kill Gamora? I'm still gonna win. Got to destroy the stones so that you can never get them back and snap? I'm gonna do that, no matter if it costs me my own life. The reason why he's injured, half his face blown off, his leg doesn't work anymore, because he was willing to make that final
Sacrifice.
snap. He didn't destroy the stones, actually. Find out later, once you listen to it again, he actually shrunk them to a subatomic level. So you just can't even find them anymore. But he did that because nothing matters. His life doesn't matter. His daughter's life didn't matter. And I'm not saying that I understand where you're coming from completely, because you're not going up against that big bad. But, like, that old Thanos won. You didn't beat him.
Yeah.
He played chess, and he beat everybody at it.
And from the end of Infinity War, he was at peace. He went back to that garden. He was at peace. He was retired. He did
Yeah.
what his destiny thought it was fulfilled.
Yeah, one goal.
Doesn't
And
matter if he dies. At
And
that
I don't
point.
want to. I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to
yeah.
convince anybody like to change
Well,
their
at
opinion.
that point,
but
then it
that's-
should have
that's-
just ended in Infinity War. To me, like this new movie, Endgame, was kind of redundant to me. Like
Okay.
it was just kind of like, okay, because I get it. Like
Yeah.
he won. All right, and
Done.
it
You
would
couldn't beat him.
it would have just ended in Infinity War for me. But
Yeah.
when they made this movie, it just kind of it took a lot of what Infinity War built, and
Yeah.
then it was just like I just was expecting something a little bit more clever.
You know,
you
and,
know?
I, and
Okay.
I agree with that. Rob, do you kind of feel that same way with Eliud?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Thanos was
take
a bitch.
Thanos was a
I mean, is that part of your grievances as well, that you're not really taking down the guy that did the snap? You're taking
Yeah,
down.
and part of it, and we actually had spoken the other day about it, and we both kind of agreed on the fact, like, how would the Thanos that destroyed the stones,
Mhm.
how in the world did he not see the possibility of the Avengers finding a way of going back in time to reverse everything he did?
Because he didn't know that was possible. He had no understanding of the quantum realm.
Okay, so then why paint him in Infinity War as like a all-knowing type of being? Like, oh, I knew how this would happen. I was always 2 or 3 steps ahead of you, but somehow he all of a sudden wasn't.
I mean, I take that as he's just a super genius. He has his plan well thought out,
No,
and once he
right. Well,
once he,
it clearly wasn't well thought out
Well,
because
once he
somebody found the loophole.
I think once he gets rid of the stones, he's like, there's nothing you can do. They're gone. You
Yeah.
can't find a way.
But the
And-
problem is he didn't kill the quote unquote smartest guy in the world.
Who's that, Tony?
That was his first mistake.
I would argue
hold
that
on.
was Ant-Man because Ant-Man's the one that came up with
Ant-Man's
that.
the one that understood it.
And
then
this is
Doctor
why I
Strange is the
said
one that
quote
saw it.
unquote.
And I
That's
would
why
argue
said,
that the
quote,
rat is
unquote.
what saved Ant-Man. So had he killed the rat, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Well, and that's why I was saying quote unquote because Marvel is painting Tony Stark to be the smartest guy in the universe and this and that, and he's he's
which
a
he's not.
little
which he's not.
right.
I
He's
mean,
a
at
little
this
OP in
point.
that department.
Which he's still not. I would even argue.
But
that
maybe
Doctor Strange is
okay,
smarter
that
than
goes
him.
back to Infinity
But
War.
he wasn't alive at the time.
Well,
Thanos
that
was
his choice.
Thanos was about to kill Stark when Doctor Strange made that deal with him. You spare his life, I
Yeah.
give you the stone. So Strange saw that,
Mhm.
and I don't think, honestly, as all-knowing as he might have seemed, as all-powerful as he was there to just all he saw was kill half the universe. He didn't understand time travel. He didn't understand the quantum realm. I think the only villain that probably could have understood it was Dormammu, which I honestly thought might have made an appearance at some point in this movie. It just never happened. So that's the only villain I can think of that would have understood that. So generally, obviously, maybe when he mentioned time travel, it was an absurd idea. Even nowadays, in reality, no one thinks time travel is even possible.
Mhm.
So
Even with the whole time travel
yeah,
Ooh,
plot.
We're gonna talk about that too.
Okay. Can we
Go for it. Bring
all
it
right.
up.
So even though with the whole time travel plot, all right, wasn't necessarily a big fan of all that. All right. I thought that they were going to get the stones in some other way, or I don't know. I guess I had my expectations a little bit higher than the whole time travel thing. I think that was kind of like a cop out. All right. Now with the whole time travel stuff, specifically when it comes to how everything ended with the 5 years later.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Robert and I spoke about this. Does that mean?
You talked to Robert about your
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
your
yeah,
movie logic.
yeah. We did, because
You
we
have
were like,
nothing
this
better to do in your
this
life,
had made
dude.
no sense to us.
Okay.
So
Let's talk.
So
for like
5
a
years.
whole hour.
Yeah.
right?
So 5 years later, right?
Right.
So Peter Parker goes back to high school now. Is that what it is?
well, that's the thing. He never aged.
Well, he never aged, but what about his friends, or what about
that's
what
something they
about
might
the
address-
year?
That's
Anybody
something they
that-
might address in Far From Home. They all might have gotten
Hey,
snapped.
We'll see.
Hey, no.
I hope so.
If we're
So the cast from Far From Home, they just did Jimmy Kimmel,
Mhm.
and he asked them, so how is it after 5 years from Endgame to now? How is it that you guys are still in high school? And the whole cast kind of like looked at each other
They can't say
because it's as if that thought barely crossed their mind. Like, yeah, that is a good question. Like, how the hell are we so even Tom Holland looked back. He's like, why are we still in high school? Like, none of that makes sense. And they all started cracking up because like this is a big hole that nobody ever thought to catch when reading their scripts.
How do you know they weren't coached to react like that?
Well, we'll see.
Exactly.
You know what? And maybe you got a good point. Maybe they will address that for Far From Home. But
Yeah.
for the movie itself, I think that was kind of like that would have been fine if they didn't have the scene where Peter Parker actually walks through high school again. Because then that left me the question, like, wait a minute, like his class is still there. Like, I mean,
we only really know like a handful of them, right? We only know like
maybe,
My
but
only thought is like him, Ned, MJ, Flash,
Flash.
probably all got snapped. That's why they
please
didn't
don't
age.
call her MJ. She's not MJ.
well, she's MJ.
think
We
she's
can't
not
call her
MJ.
Mary
not
She's
Jane.
Mary-
not. She's not MJ.
We can't call her Mary Jane. We can call her.
We'll
MJ.
talk for a second because I have a fear. About
Another
that.
story. Another
So,
story.
Yeah, all right, okay.
So I agree with what he said, and if you want to dive into it and figure it out, you can do that. But if you just say to yourself, they all got snapped. At least his inner circle, which is like 5 people,
Yeah.
they all got snapped. When they come back, they're the same age, almost like Ant-Man. He kind of comes back, even though he was in the quantum realm, but he comes back and
only lost 5
everybody's 5. Yeah, he lost 5 hours. Everybody's 5 years older. But I take it as Peter Parker is still the same age as he was when he got
No.
dusted.
I'm agreeing with that. I agree.
When he got
he's-
dusted.
So when he got dusted, yes. When he I agree that he's still the same age.
Yeah.
But my gripe is, why is he still in high school when he's what better yet, why is he going back to his same class?
If he-
Well, I
if
guess
that's
I
the
guess
thing,
the
if you
question
get-
to be asked. I think the question to be asked is after, the finger snap, did school even continue from that point?
That's a bunch of good questions that we probably won't ever get answered. Maybe in Far From Home, but I think
Maybe.
if he gets dusted and he's in the ninth grade, then when he comes back, he's still in the ninth
He's
grade.
still in the ninth grade,
Yeah.
right?
Which
Yeah,
which
well,
did read
like I
when they-
said, I didn't really like that whole time travel stuff, man. And then I mean that even goes with the whole Captain America ending, you know how. But if you want to
Okay.
get to that a little later, but
No, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do it because I know that was a big sort of, not a gripe, but that's a big major question mark that came up a lot. And when you ask the directors and you ask the writers, they actually had some contradicting answers
Thoughts.
and thoughts about it. But
I'll give my theory if you want, but yeah, go ahead.
we can do that, and if you guys have theories, we can do that as well. The way I took it in the movie, and then sort of listened to what the directors had to say as well as what the writers had to say about it, is when you take the stones out of out of a timeline, and you start making movements. Those movements in the past start creating parallel timelines along with yours. So we'll call the main timeline, the Avengers Prime timeline. That one never changes. They've talked to a lot of quantum physicists about it or whatever about it, just to kind of get an idea of how this was going to work. So when Cap actually goes back and puts all the stones in, there's one of two things that happens. When he puts all the stones back, you are no longer making alternate timelines, and you are now sort of closing the holes, I guess,
Closing the
if
loop.
you will, closing the loop, closing the holes in the Prime timeline. So Cap goes, meets Peggy, was what we're assuming,
Yeah.
and lives a wonderful life with Peggy, and then shows up at the lake during Stark's funeral at the end. That's theory one. I like it. I'll buy it. That's fine. Theory two is that he actually goes back in time, puts all the stones back, lives a life with Peggy in a parallel timeline still, and then has to make the jump back to the
main timeline.
Avengers Prime timeline, and does it at the right moment or right before they send young Steve Rogers into the past. Did you have any thoughts on that, or does one of those make more sense to you than the other?
The first theory you said to me made more sense.
Okay. Which I think it does too. So if you put the stones back, you can no longer start messing up time and creating all these parallel ones where, like, Loki's alive in one, and there's a timeline where
But
Thanos...
that timeline still exists, though.
Loki, yeah. No, it still exists.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't make changes anymore. Like, you can't... Or maybe... I
They
don't-
can't fix that one. He's gone. He had to take that stone back to the 70s.
Yeah.
Which still, you still have the two timelines. I'm going with your second theory in that he stays with Peggy. That is
Right.
an alternate timeline. But remember, she dies of natural causes in, is it Avengers?
Civil
no,
War?
and Winter Soldier.
Oh.
What is Winter Soldier?
Mhm.
So at that point, when she dies, at that point, he can make the jump back to the main timeline.
Gotcha.
Because otherwise, he would have aged even more, unless the whole super soldier thing makes him age slower. You know?
It does in the comics. It makes him age a little
Wait, so
slower.
how is she still alive in Civil War?
Is she alive in Civil War, Peggy?
Yes, because
I think
Steve
that's
gets a
when she's on her
call in
deathbed.
Civil War.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Is that what she
Yeah,
dies? I forget
he
which
gets-
movie when she dies. Yeah.
He gets a phone call like, you don't know who it is, but you assume it's her because, Steve is like, he looks all sad after hearing something over the phone. Like,
No,
it's
but he
time,
sees her
or-
die. He sees her die, right?
I thought he saw her on. Well,
Yeah,
he saw her
she was
her
on a-
deathbed,
she was on a
but
deathbed.
He must have saw her on the deathbed, but he wasn't there when she passed
No,
because he gets a
okay.
phone call when
Oh,
she dies.
okay, whatever. Yeah,
You
it's
gotta-
one
Yeah,
of those.
because-
You got a phone
because
call
he
from
he
her
because
niece.
he ends up hooking up with like her granddaughter or something like that.
Yeah, but that didn't work out. So
Which there's another interesting story. If
Yeah.
he is the one that ends up marrying Peggy, where's their kids? Where are their kids? What's going on with that?
Yeah.
That's another thing.
So, and also about
for
that.
it.
So, also with that, none of those timelines make any sense to me. So, just to clarify that with all your
Go for it.
all your theories.
All right.
All right. So, if Captain America takes all those stones back,
Yeah.
okay, does that mean so with that alternate timeline? All right. I could kind of understand maybe he has an alternate timeline, but how does he end up back at where right at the bench park where to meet up with Falcon and all that. If it's an alternate timeline, so does that mean he was never frozen? Does that mean that the original Avengers didn't take place? Does he even know Tony Stark, or does he even create a relationship
think-
with anybody? You know,
I
if he
think
stayed in that
never-
timeline. And if
I
you're going
think
to
he
argue,
just
hold up,
never
Robert.
took-
If you
Goddamn.
argue that it's an alternate timeline, again, how does he end up right back at the same spot? That's where
I
my
think-
gripe is. And
I
also,
think-
hold up, Robert.
Oh,
Hold up, bro. Let me explain.
This is
the
why you're supposed
long-winded
to
Rob
show
was
up.
talking
And also-
This is why you show up, Rob.
Yeah.
And also, all right, if he puts back the Soul Stone, why doesn't he not get what's her name, Black Widow back? You know, a soul for a soul, right? Isn't
Right.
that the whole
Well,
shit? So
right.
why doesn't
Can't
he
be done.
why doesn't he get what's her name
can't be
Black Widow
undone.
back? What do you mean he can't
Hold
be
up,
done?
bro. That's because she's getting her own film. So just because she didn't come back in this film doesn't mean she didn't come back. Maybe when she came back on some foreign planet, and now she's like, well, fuck. How the hell do I get home?
Hey, well,
So when-
the whole maybe this, maybe that. See,
It
that's
can't
my
be undone,
that's my
bro.
problem with this
That's
Can't
movie.
be
the
undone,
theorizing.
bro.
That's
thing.
my problem
That's
with
where it
this
leaves it
movie.
open.
No, that's
That's the
kind of
guessing
that's
game.
that's the problem with this movie. It's just it's all like, oh well, maybe this is what happened. Well, maybe Thanos had the ultimate plan after all. No, it just doesn't make sense with the plot. Maybe Spider-Man's back in high school. Maybe he's not. We'll find out. No, man, I'm not with all that.
You just don't want to think. That's basically what
No,
it
no,
sounds
no, no,
like.
no. It's not about wanting to think. I
He's
just
very
want.
lazy.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going, the movie's the one that set up the rules. All right,
Right.
I didn't. I'm
Right.
not. The movie's the one that says, hey, if you take out the stones and put them back at a certain, it's gonna mess up the timeline. Okay, cool. So that's exactly what we did, and that's exactly what Steve Rogers did. So
I mean,
what's
to be
changed?
honest, I don't want
This-
to think.
Well, see,
The stones are an instrument. It's not necessarily the stones aren't what changes the timeline. You go back in time, and him getting with Peggy is creating an alternate timeline.
Okay.
That's the thing. So, to your original question, how does he end up on that bench? I think after she passes away, he had a parent particle. He still had the quantum suit. He jumped back into that timeline
manually.
manually to give the shield to Sam. Now, granted, he didn't show up in that machine. For all we know, he could have jumped back in that timeline
Prior
I don't
to
know,
that.
prior to that, or showed up somewhere else. I have no idea.
Well, that's-
Maybe-
Why couldn't-
maybe
that's
when they
my-
do-
that's my
why-
gripe.
No, 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 no.
Is
no.
that I
Maybe
don't
when they do a
Why-
Captain America movie
No,
on
no, no.
Disney
maybe
Plus, we'll find
maybe he
out.
did this,
So-
maybe he did that. I mean, I'm
Why
just like-
couldn't that have been? Why couldn't that have been the original Cap? Because you saw how old he was. Well, it's possible he could have still been alive.
What-
I mean, he was
That is
probably in his
possible too, and he knew
90s.
exactly where everybody was going to be. Yeah,
Exactly.
Hold on. So that is the original Cap, though.
that is.
Exactly. That's my point.
No, him saying,
And
how
I
could he have
think
not
this
just
Cap,
continued to live and not made a jump? He would have just known where they were going to be.
This is the Cap. This is the version of Cap that never took the super soldier serum. Because if it,
that's
if
another,
it,
that's
no,
no,
another
no,
good
no,
point.
no, no, no. He has to have taken the
Yeah,
serum,
don't
otherwise
get
he-
no,
confused.
no, he could not have had.
Well,
because
listen,
if
there's
you
one
saw,
rule.
he was old and stringy. Like, no, he wouldn't have taken the super
I
soldier
think
serum.
it still ages you though, Robert.
Yeah, he's not immortal though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it still ages you. That super soldier serum does not affect you from
He ages
like
slower,
aging.
but he still ages.
Yeah, he still ages.
I don't know.
Okay, so the one thing you cannot change is you can't change the past. So
You can't change the events that have happened.
every
yes.
movie the Avengers have gone through or the characters don't get affected. If they go back in time and they mess with the original Avengers film and Loki takes off with the Tesseract, that doesn't change the first Avengers film. That actually creates a separate timeline where Loki gets away and who the hell knows what he does next. You get that part of these, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a butterfly effect type thing.
Yeah.
This is creating different timelines.
But
yeah.
that's what they said in the movie though. It was a butterfly effect.
No, they
the-
said it
a
wasn't.
it was not. A butterfly effect is like I go back and change this, and everything changes around me. You know, like
So that wasn't addressed in the movie.
It
'Cause
was
I could-
addressed.
I
When they
could have
named
sworn that
Hulk.
it was.
I think Hulk brought it up.
yeah, they named like every time travel movie
won't,
out there.
It
that
won't
wouldn't
change
affect
the
it.
past.
Yeah.
It'll change the future.
Okay,
It'll
I
say
need a
it'll
string.
change what could have been, but it
You gotta
won't
find a
change
string.
what
Yeah,
has
string.
already been.
So the best way to kind of think about this is kind of like I said. If you think about every single Marvel film, those are set in stone.
right.
Nothing changes.
Right.
If you send Derek into a first Avengers film
Yo.
and he trips Hawkeye, that doesn't happen in the movie
Derek
we
wishes
watched.
he could trip up.
That doesn't happen in the movie we
I'll win.
watched. It creates a separate timeline parallel to ours where that event happened, but Hawkeye from Endgame doesn't remember that, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
nothing affects the original Avengers or the movies or any of the past, but it will create new events in separate timelines that they will never experience. That's
Okay.
why they don't care.
Rob can't see this, but here we go. So, string, time. Everything here is in the past.
Everybody taking their notes?
Whatever you do, it can't change what happened.
Right.
So, in the future, these guys are going to jump to the past.
This is making my head hurt.
I know it is. So they're going to go jump to a point in the past, but all their experiences, they don't change. They don't lose their memories. They don't lose what happened. You can't change the past. So
Gotcha.
that's basically what it is. They might create alternate timelines, but as long as they jump back, that doesn't change. That's the whole idea behind it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
there's
not-
YouTube videos that explain it. So.
Okay.
It's almost like if you were going...
He's still lost.
Okay.
It does, no, my point is that
I got it,
none
I
of
got it.
this
Quantum
makes the
physicist.
movie better to me. None of this, this whole theorizing that, it could have been this and it could have been that. Well, that doesn't make it a better movie.
But now
you know?
but this is the thing. You're theorizing. So what is it? We're going to guess. You're going to go see Far From Home. You're going to go see future MCU.
Well,
movies.
actually,
See how
I
they
mean-
address that. That's the point.
Check it out. You saw Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yes. I did.
Okay, so think about Endgame less like time and think about them like multiverses. So Cap's Loki is escaping not in Prime multiverse, but he's escaping in a parallel multiverse. That's what it really is.
So, I get that. Like I said, I have no problems with the multiverse thing.
Yeah.
I'm actually encouraging the multiverse thing, but I'm not going to get too excited
We're
about it
getting
because
there.
I know it's not going to happen the way I would
we're
like
getting
it.
there. We're getting
I
there.
know it's not going to happen the way I like it, so I'm not going
Or
to get too
will
excited
it?
for this whole multiverse thing. No, I probably won't. But what my point is that the whole timeline on going back, he's going back to time. He's
Yeah.
putting all the stones in. I get that. I get it creating a multiverse. But if that was the case, it still doesn't make sense to me why he still showed up at the park. That's where I'm like,
Sure.
if it's a multiverse, then why is the old guy still there? You
yeah,
know,
and
When
the only way you actually buy it is if you believe that once all the stones are back in their original place,
Mhm.
then he can now either live in the prime time
Timeline.
space timeline
Mhm.
with all the events that he knows, or once he lives his life with Peggy,
Yeah,
Peggy Carter, and like he said, she passes away. He flips his watch, and he actually gets sent back to the funeral scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so we don't see that.
maybe.
But it's all for the payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all for the payoff of seeing
For some.
old Cap there.
yeah, for some.
For some.
You're worried
For
too
some.
much about the epilogue and not more about the movie.
Well, yeah,
I mean, I care about the plot. It's
Yeah,
got to
I
make
know.
sense. So, I mean, we can theorize all
I
we
think
want
there-
about it.
but I
that's
think-
a fan service scene. Let's be honest here.
Ooh.
I get that.
You know.
Great transition. Great transition.
Okay, you're welcome.
I did have a big question, and I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on it. In this movie, we had a ton of great things. We got Professor Hulk. We
Yeah.
got Cap holding Mjolnir for the first time.
Cap saying "Hail Hydra."
Cap back in the elevator scene saying
Yeah.
"Hail Hydra." What else? Tony talking to his dad was a big moment for me. Kind of
Yeah.
doing that. Is all of these little things? Is it fan service, or is it just imaginative writing, and does it pay off well for the audience? Derek, get your thoughts on it first.
Can I say a mixture of both?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
good.
one for the rating, but I like to one of my favorite scenes: Cap holding the hammer, beating Thor's ass.
Yeah.
Not Thor, Thanos' ass.
Yeah.
Like I saw in the comment, the 20-hit combo.
Yeah.
And
I
like Street
mean-
Fighter 5, he still wasn't dead. So.
Shockingly. And then he just comes back and whoops his ass. But,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a mixture of both. The rating, but how they brought that into the movie and the endgame.
And I'm gonna regret this, but Rob, do you think all of these elements are just too much of fan service, like they're unnecessary, or are they good plot devices and they pay off well for the film?
I think they knew that they were gonna have a lot of angry fans because of how sucky the movie was. So they decided to strategically place these fan service games
Strategery.
I knew
to
you were
hope
asking him that.
to distract people.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
And then you probably know where you're going.
They had
with.
to have this.
Okay.
This is the end of the Infinity Saga. That's the whole point. They kind of wrapping up 3 phases of movies. The most powerful one I think there was Thor talking to his mom.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that was great.
she got more screen time she did in the first 2 Thor movies, but yeah,
That was a fan service.
in a way.
Oh, okay.
In a way, I mean, you never saw Thor's relationship with his mom, basically. In the first
I'm
movie.
I'm not a big Thor fan, so yeah.
I know, I mean,
I wouldn't
I'm
have known if
offended.
that was a fan service or not.
Offending fat
I'm
Thor over
offended.
here. So,
Can we talk about Thor in a
We can definitely
okay,
talk
yeah.
about Thor. Go for it.
All right.
but yeah,
What- what-
this, the things you wanted to see. We talked about it. We wanted to see Cap with Peggy. We wanted to see them get the dance.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a great way to end it.
Iron Man
Iron Man
really never
using-
had a relationship with his father.
Yeah,
And to see that his father had the same apprehensions about having a child that he does is another thing. So this on some level they were able to relate with that. So it kind of closed the loop on a lot of those storylines, especially with how Iron Man went out. That was another thing too, was that he was always not able to rest. He was always thinking. He was always worried about the next thing. Stark never rested, and maybe that finally allowed him to be at peace.
Yeah.
And that was the thing Pepper told him, is like, you can rest now. Like, you did everything. You did what you're supposed to do. Now you can rest. That was a key point in that line where she tells him, "We're gonna be okay. Now you can rest." Finally.
I don't know if it's so a lot of these things I think aren't fan service because a lot of these things are sort of necessary elements. Now, when you talk about Thor looking like the Big Lebowski the whole film, I don't know if that's fan service. I think that's just a good gag.
Oh, it definitely wasn't. But
Yeah,
It's
just-
realistic though.
It's really interesting,
Yeah.
and it kind of moves his story a little bit along.
It gives us hope.
But
That people that look like us can be gods too.
Cap wielding Mjolnir and really holding his own with it for
They
the
had to
first
have
time.
that. They had to.
It's not only like if you're just writing this movie
Mhm.
and you're just thinking about what are the best things we could put in this film to kind of help close this 22 film 3-phase chapter, because that's what this is. It's one huge anthology that you're closing, not just Infinity War and Endgame, but it's 22 films. So what are the best ideas we can put in here? Cap wielding Mjolnir is fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw a meme when the movie came out, and the meme said something like, if you were to tell me when I saw Iron Man for the first time that one day we were going to see Spider-Man holding the Infinity Gauntlet while swinging off of Mjolnir in the air, I would punch you in the face and say it's never going to happen. We freaking got that in the film, you know? So I'm just like, these are iconic moments, and think of like your favorite comic or your favorite series or your favorite Star Wars trilogy, and think of your absolute favorite moments in those films. We needed those things, so I appreciated all the little things that we got in here. Something like the Spider-Man thing or the Cap thing, I don't think they're fan service. I think they're well thought out ideas because they actually mean something. They're not just thrown in there for the hell of it, is the best way I can put it.
Even Cap saying Avengers Assemble for like the first and only time.
First time that
Yeah.
we got that
Yeah.
at the greatest moment, and it's probably my favorite scene actually in the entire Infinity Saga is just him standing alone, Mjolnir in one hand,
Looking for that photo.
broken shield in the other hand. I saw that.
That's from the bootleg version, but I try to catch it.
And Thanos.
Make sure the subtitles aren't in it.
Yeah. The captain stands alone, like
Yeah.
just on one side, while you have an entire army, and he's not one hesitation thought is in his mind about what's about to happen. You know, you wanted to bring up Thor.
so back to real quick. Let me just capitalize on that.
Go
the
for it.
Easter egg stuff.
For those that's in the
Um,
audio version, Elliot's kind of buff right now, so that's probably why he has an issue with Fat Thor.
No. I don't have an. So what I have an issue with
Kidding.
Fat Thor
kidding.
was
Don't
is
be
the fact
fooled.
that
Don't be
wasn't.
fooled.
It kind of annoyed me that he was fat throughout the entire movie. Kind of annoyed me that he had like this whole, like the whole mom complex. Who am I? I thought we got past that through like or was it Thor Dark World and all that.
Yeah.
And just to kind of go back to Thor being like that was kind of redundant to me.
Mm.
You know, I was just like, I get it. It was fun. It was funny at first, you know, but it's kind of like with Professor Hulk. I wasn't a big fan of that. It was funny at first, but where the hell was the Hulk the entire movie? You know, I was like, come on, man, like get mad. Let's go. You know, and I thought when
He got mad,
and when Robert
went back in time.
yeah, when Robert
Right.
brought up like, well, you know, he's like, I was the same way too. I thought he was gonna get upset when he found out that Black Widow had to die, and still nothing. We never saw Hulk again. We didn't see. I mean, I wouldn't say we saw Thor again either, but it's whatever. With that, and then also the Hell Hydra thing. That was a big controversial. Like I don't know if that's really considered an Easter egg, because the people who actually read, like, you know, Captain America comics, they really hated that whole Hell Hydra thing, that he was actually a Hydra agent the entire time.
It was a big backlash. Yeah.
It was a huge backlash.
Not to mention,
so the people to
Well, that
say
was like an alternate story. That's
well, true, but people still but Marvel lost a lot of fan service because of that, and it was the same thing with Spider-Man with Far From, or One More Day, when he made a deal with the devil and changed his alternate timeline. It was the same thing with that. Like, I know that's why I stopped reading Spider-Man, because it was like, Marvel, what the hell are you doing? You just totally.
But are those canon stories, or just like
yes, they are
alternates?
canon.
They are canon
yeah,
stories.
they are
Okay.
canon stories. So that's why I stopped reading Spider-Man.
Because DC did the same thing with Superman, like Superman Red Sun.
Maybe
but
they
yeah,
did, but
it was an alternate thing.
No, this was not alternate thing. This the Spider-Man timeline is still with that today, and also with Captain America, it's still the same timeline. So now it's like different Captain America. It's a big mess with all that stuff. So to me, when I heard Hell Hydra, I was like, really? Like they're, you know, to people who really don't know that, you know, I guess they're, you know, they might like that, but to people who actually read the comics, I think it would have been kind of salty for them. But that's neither here or there. So with Thor, all right, him having. So when Thor got the what's the Stormbreaker, right? So when he had Stormbreaker, okay, I'm assuming that thing was a lot more powerful than the Gauntlet, being how when Thanos had the Infinity Gauntlet, and I think he had the entire Gauntlet. He had all complete,
stones.
and Stormbreaker still broke through that and hit his chest.
Yes.
Because Stormbreaker it's like it's equal. It can counter it. They didn't explain this. It can counter the Gauntlet, but I mean, it's not like it's.
So would you? So I'm getting back to the impression that I had from Infinity War,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Again, this is the movie. This is what it set out. All right. When Thor came back with Stormbreaker, I thought this dude was like by himself could take off Thanos.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he had both of his hammers.
Yep.
Right.
Sure did.
And he had the help of Captain and Iron Man, and you would kind of argue that he's probably facing a less Thanos threat here, being in the fact he doesn't have all the Infinity Stones.
Hey, he was out of shape, bro.
And he still struggled.
Thor was out of shape.
Don't give me that.
Yeah, dude.
Don't give me that shit, man.
That's
Oh
what
my
happened.
God.
Five years on the bench, man.
Come on.
He's been skipping leg day for 5 years.
Okay.
Skipping
Fine,
every day for 5 years.
Fine. But he
He had
had
depression,
but
he
he
had
still
guilt, 5
had
years.
Do you know how many
Iron Man,
carbs are in art
and he still
Asgardian beer?
had Iron Man. Okay, fine. But at that point, we could have argued he's
drank
got Iron
alcohol
Man
for
and
5 years.
Captain America.
I agree.
Like,
Okay.
it made no sense. I'm like, why is Thor even struggling right now? He's got the Stormbreaker. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like that. I get it. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was fan service to see Captain America, but at the same time, being that the movie again, I'm going about what the movie said.
Do it. Say
the
it.
movie made these
Preach.
rules.
Preach.
The movie made these rules. It should have never happened like that.
I
All
agree.
right. I don't think I don't see Thor really struggling with a less powerful Thanos, so to speak. You know, being that he doesn't have the Infinity Stones. So that's why I was just kind of like, why is we even struggling here? You know, and again, I as much as I like the Captain America picking up, you know, Thor's hammer and all that, at the same time, I'm like, well, why would he need to do that when Thor has both fucking hammers?
And isn't Thor essentially screwing over his past self when he took Mjolnir with him?
Well, yeah, that's another
Captain
good
put it
question.
back though.
Yeah.
Captain put it back.
Took it back.
Cap took it back at the
Oh,
end.
Yeah.
back.
He was there on the
It was
time machine
there.
with him.
Oh my god!
Now, I'm okay.
How many times you watched this?
Nothing,
Oh
nothing
my
against what
God.
you're saying. He didn't bootleg it. Obviously, he's seen enough. Now, okay, I get what your point is. Now, I'll play the devil's advocate, at least on the writer's side. Why is he struggling? Why is that? Okay, there's multiple factors. One, he's been 5 years drinking PTSD. He was right there. He was
Hello?
ground zero when the snap happened.
Derek
it
would have
was-
a hard
it was
time
Derek with not as
with
much
Thanos
tan.
too.
So obviously he's out of shape, drunk a lot of beer, yelling at Noob Master or whatever the hell that guy's name was on Fortnite.
Noob Master 69.
Whatever his name was.
That's hilarious.
So he's dealing with that. He's still suffering depression. He's out of shape. Iron Man probably hasn't worked out at all for 5 years. You know, he hasn't probably even touched his suit at all for 5 years. You
He's
think about
still
that.
he's still just his suit is what he is. I
The
think.
key there also is Thanos is what? Thanos is from what, 2014?
Sure.
So he's what, 10 years younger if you go by they've been ahead 5 years. So he's 10 years younger than these guys. Probably more athletic, more motivated because Thanos' motivation now is I'm not just going to eliminate half the universe. I'm taking out the whole goddamn thing and rebuild it from the ground up. Not saying is he more powerful than he is without what he would have been with the Infinity Stones? Probably not. But he was a better fighter without. He was a better fighter in this movie because he was younger, because he was on I guess a bigger quest.
I don't even think about it that much because we saw in Infinity War that without any Infinity Stones, Thanos took out Hulk.
He had one Infinity Stone.
No.
He
He had
didn't-
the Power Stone.
He
He didn't use it, but
he
he
did
did-
not
no,
use it.
No.
He didn't use
No,
it.
He did not use it.
Like
in
on
Infinity
Captain
War.
Marvel?
No.
He didn't use it.
No. He did use it with Captain Marvel. What are you
He
talking
had
about?
to.
No.
I'm saying he didn't use it
Against-
like he did.
Against
Like the
Hulk, no Infinity Stones. Straight punches, knees,
Body slam.
headbutts.
Let him have his
He
fun, as they say.
dropped Hulk. Like,
Whooped his ass.
yeah.
Whooped his ass. Then he
No,
just like stopped
no.
fighting and got smart.
I'm
He
telling you.
used-
I'm
he used
telling
the
you.
Power Stone.
No.
It
Zero.
never lit up.
stones.
It never lit up.
Zero
No,
stones.
He had the Power Stone.
Yeah,
But did he use
but
it
he
in that
didn't
fight
use
though?
it.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he used it in
No,
that
he
fight.
did
No,
not.
he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He used it to
Rob,
blow up
you're
the ship.
Rob, you're at home. Go look at
Go
the
on
movie
Netflix and find
Infinity
out.
War.
Look.
Watch it right now.
Is this?
Shut up. Pull it up right now.
I'm letting you know he went hand to hand combat with Hulk and he took out Hulk as a sport. He didn't
And
lose
then
a
used
sweat.
the stone afterwards to blow up the ship.
It's
He
true.
didn't
The only
break
one
a
that
sweat.
bloodied him up in Infinity War was Stark.
The only one who ever did anything was Tony in
That was
Infinity War.
impressive.
And that makes no sense.
Okay, so according
How?
to the
How?
movie,
How?
Scratch.
So Hulk
According-
never did
according
anything,
to-
but Tony did. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
to
Hulk
me.
was going through a
according
weird.
to
No,
stop,
no,
shut up,
don't-
stop. Listen,
Okay,
listen,
Rob,
listen.
Rob's talking. Rob's
All right.
talking.
According to Google, Thanos
Good
didn't
source.
use the Power Stone on the Hulk.
No.
No, he did not.
Thanos is a massively powerful being on his own, even
a-
without
Yes.
the stones.
They call him the Mad Titan for a reason.
Yes.
Stormbreaker was built to counter the power of the Infinity Gauntlet, not necessarily Thanos himself. So, that I guess that if you're going back to how this was originally
Release
brought
you
up, that's what
struggling?
Stormbreaker.
No, dude, it's so stupid to me, man. It makes no sense. Like, just use a Stormbreaker on this weakened Thanos because he's got no Infinity Stones.
Oh, hold
just
on.
use that.
Hold on. According to the comics, so this is another link, but this is according to the comics.
We can't use the comics here.
We
Yeah.
can't.
Thanos cheated by possessing the Power Stone. Just having it in your grasp makes you stronger.
Okay.
I would argue that yes. I to me the only way it makes no sense. How are you going? How is it that Hulk or Thanos beat up the Hulk, but yet took a beating from Iron Man? And the only reason why I rationalize that because again continuity and Hulk, the
Because
strongest there is.
Iron Man made sure he didn't use the gauntlet. Remember the
No,
foot thing?
no.
He stepped- he stepped
No,
on
in
his hand.
Infinity War.
And Hulk
In
did,
Infinity War,
Yeah,
in
Infinity
Infinity
War.
War, Hulk did get some good hits in. He slammed him into the wall. He got him really good. I think he might have broke off a piece of armor from him too.
He broke his armor.
Yeah.
He broke
And
a little bit of armor, so he did what he could. And Thanos
Stark
is
fought
so
a Thanos with no armor.
I
That's another
gotta
thing.
see that again, man, because I could have.
Thanos had his armor up until that fight.
Either way, I honestly believe the only way Thanos could have won that was having the Power Stone. That's
He had his armor too. That's
that makes
another
no
thing.
sense. If you're gonna put down, so this is again with Hulk and Iron Man. All right, since we're gonna talk about this shit. So with Hulk and Iron Man, Hulk can do no damage to Thanos, but yeah, Iron Man, bloodied him up. Okay, fine. So in this movie, all right, again, Hulk having to put on the glove.
Yeah.
For the Infinity Stones, right?
Yes.
So he was struggling. I can't do the snap. Really struggling. It took like 5 minutes to blow his load, right? Then when Iron Man gets
lasted
it,
pretty long.
When then Iron Man gets it, I'm Iron Man. Kiss my dick. Like, are you kidding me?
Robert, that's what you got.
So you're telling me that Professor Hulk struggled with that gauntlet, just
Adrenaline.
to snap it,
Adrenaline.
and you're telling me that Tony Stark now, yeah, I got it now. Here we go. Like, no,
Adrenaline.
no, get the fuck.
I'm just saying. You do superhuman stuff with
So you're
adrenaline.
telling me that Stark's adrenaline is more than Hulk's adrenaline?
I think Stark's
Probably.
armor was a factor.
Perhaps.
No,
Possibly.
no,
We
no.
we don't know that.
First of all, you did see the stones
Come
rolling
on.
up onto Tony,
Yes.
and he did it quick before he could struggle with it.
Yes.
So
He did pretty
Get
quick.
the fuck! That doesn't make any difference, dude. Are you all? So technically, shut the, no.
Gotta love
no.
comic
It
discussions,
makes
man.
no sense to me that Hulk struggled with Thanos in Infinity War, and then Iron Man got a hit on him, or got the best of Thanos supposedly, and then
Because
in this one, he struggled to get that, and then Iron Man just
took out.
no.
Iron Man made sure that Thanos couldn't use the gauntlet.
That what? No, it
Yes.
makes no sense.
Yes.
No.
I don't think you can look into it that much because we don't know the factors. The fact that it did.
I don't have to look
it-
into it that much.
What you
It's
what
a
you
snap.
what
But
you
you
do
are-
what we
What's the- it's-
what you
how is
do
that not a
understand is that Hulk didn't die, and Tony did. He clearly could not take it as much as Hulk did because Hulk survived something that clearly Tony didn't.
Yeah.
Blew Tony half to hell.
But he should have struggled.
the idea was
Why
that
didn't he
anybody-
struggle with it?
I mean, he's
I'm not
not he's not the
arguing-
first, and he's not the
I'm
first.
not arguing that Tony shouldn't have died. My point is Tony shouldn't have made the snap to begin with because
Yeah.
Hulk struggled. Like we hey dude, concentrate. I can't. And then Tony, I'm Iron Man. Get the fuck
That's
out
right,
of here! Like
bitch,
that
I'm
was, dude. That
I
was
like his face when he did
stupid.
that.
And we won't know the certain elements or the certain differences in what made that.
It's the armor.
Oh my God.
It could be the
Again,
armor.
Could be the armor.
The plot.
It could be the armor.
He didn't even have the Hulk Buster. Come on, man. It makes no sense to me, dude. Come on. Okay, whatever, man. It again still doesn't make a better movie, man. It's just all those little inconsistencies that this movie built up, and then it just kind of counters it. I can't stand that. But that's another thing that didn't make no sense to me. But
Yeah, we can't stand it. What's up?
All right, let's
no
talk.
movie's perfect, so
All right, we talked about a lot of things you didn't like. Rob, you also mentioned a few things. Let's talk about things that we did like. Favorite one or two scenes. Derek, we'll start with you.
I have two: Cat versus Cap,
Oh yeah,
and then actually three. When Cap, says "Avengers Assemble," the whole attack scene, and then I kind of like the Tony Stark and Spider-Man moment. That was a
that was a tearjerker,
I
right?
thought
touching,
that was
touching
pretty
heart
gay.
moment.
That
Can I? Are we
you
say gay?
you
Is that-
you
can we
did
say
not
gay?
like that.
No.
You didn't like Tony and Peter hugging.
No.
Are
Like,
you,
I
do you-
mean,
do you have
I'm
a
just-
soul?
I'm just like, okay, like
Tom Holland hater over here.
I
Very-
can't stand it. Yeah,
very-
I'm proud of it. I'll
So
wear that in it. Hey,
if it was
not my
Andrew,
Spider-Man.
if it was Andrew Garfield, would you have liked it?
No, it wouldn't, because it wouldn't have made
come on.
sense. Look, I'm not against the whole. I just thought it was a little bit too cheesy for me. But
That he
I'm
hugged him?
not saying I hated that part.
That
I'm
he
just
hugged
saying-
him?
Yeah, it was a little too cheesy. Like, oh, this is nice. Like, what?
Well,
the
not
fuck?
that moment, just
Not-
that like
that
he-
they
he
embraced
came
it
in,
all.
He was talking.
Oh yeah. I was happy about that, but
Okay.
it just lasted. It got cheesy with that when he was. Oh, this is nice. Like, I don't know. I'm just like the kid tries too hard. Okay, I can't stand that. I can't stand that. But as far as we're talking about points that I did like Hawkeye in the movie. I thought Hawkeye was pretty cool.
He had a lot more to do.
Yeah, he did have some stuff to do. I do like Hawkeye. However, I did not like the Hawkeye scene in Black Widow trying to get the Soul Stone.
Dang
I thought
it.
that was a comedy. I honestly thought it was a parody. Like the way they were
Because
trying,
they're fighting over who sacrificed
yeah, like
themselves?
I'm going, and then it to the point like even my girlfriend's son Ethan was like laughing, like it just took the seriousness out of it when she actually did commit suicide.
Yeah.
For all that, so I thought that was stupid.
That's so interesting.
I
Okay.
thought that was stupid. It was like, no, I'm gonna go, and then they kind of, and then when Hawkeye even dove, and then Widow saved him, like I was just like, okay, dude, like somebody die already, like come on, I thought it was stupid. I was like, it was stupid, and then they made it so dramatic, just like the same music. When Gamora died, the same music played when Black Widow died. I was like, okay, this is not the same. Because I have Ethan laughing, I have a couple of kids laughing, like, oh, that was funny. I thought it was so stupid.
She
I had
did.
Peoples with us. He was probably crying.
I
Derek's,
cried.
Well,
Derek's
people-
crying.
Yeah, well,
I
you
cried.
can't
Crying.
count them. You can't count them. It's
We'll
the same.
get Peoples on next time about that.
But I thought that part was kind of stupid. But as far as Hawkeye,
So
doing what
again,
he
things
was
you
doing-
like.
All right, so yeah, I did like
you like?
Hawkeye.
Tell
I
us
did
things you like.
Hawkeye.
The first thing I hate.
And I did like Captain America. Again with him, the scene that I liked the most is definitely Captain America versus Thanos on his own. Even though, I didn't think Captain America was strong enough to really take on Thanos, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, with Mjolnir.
Yeah. But I mean,
You-
we would
he
have thought
tried.
that Thor had both hammers, but yet, but whatever.
True.
Fan service, right?
Well, that's why he didn't beat Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos still took him down.
Yeah.
JC, we'll go with you, and then we'll go with Rob after that.
Favorite scene, Cap finally grabbing the hammer. And it was more just that, first of all, he knew how to wield that damn thing like it was second nature to him.
Sure.
And then the crowd screaming, but although Thor was probably more excited than anybody in the theater that he
I
had it.
knew it!
That was probably, just that whole sequence right there with Cap was just probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah.
Anything else?
Oh God, there's a lot to that. That's the one that sticks out the most to me, I think. So
Rob, we'll go to you next. Rob, what are your couple of things that you love the most?
So I've actually got to counter Elliot on the scene with Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the
I'm
man.
not saying it's the best scene, but I was entertained because these are the two powerless characters of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure skill with them,
Mm-hmm.
pure hand to hand. They use their gadgets. I mean, I think that's why I liked it so much. There was no powers involved. It was just like, a race to the death, literally.
Hey, and you know what? I'm not hating. If you liked it, you win. That's good. Like you enjoyed that part. I just
All right,
thought
shut your mouth.
I just
I'm
thought
not
it, I just thought it was
done.
funny.
So that was one, and yeah, I think my almost favorite scene, and it got ruined, but I'll tell it anyway. Was when I feel that they're about to give Spidey his due, and he's delivering the gauntlet. He's like, he's getting assists left and right. Fucking Valkyrie picks him up.
How was that
Gives
again?
him a little
It's the kill.
boost. Yeah, but you never saw anything. You just saw his eyes go red, and that was about it.
Never saw
So-
anything. He took out like.
But either way,
6,
when he's
7.
like, he's going for the touchdown, dude, and that would have been my favorite scene had he done it. But the writers had to screw it up as they always do. So that was my almost favorite scene. But my other scene has to be Cap versus Thanos. That was pretty badass.
I will also third, fourth that Cap versus Thanos, and then him saying Avengers Assemble. Later on, right after that, and then on your left.
on your left, yeah, you mentioned.
Oh man, on your left
that. Yeah,
is
the other one I mentioned previously was
that's huge.
Hulk and the Ancient One talking.
That was
It's a scene
that
you
was
never
good as
expected
well.
to get. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't expect to see her back in this film. We're coming down to the end of our show, so I want to make sure we have some time to kind of talk more about it. Just anything else that you kind of wanted to go over, or any other Easter eggs you really enjoyed. We didn't talk about Stan Lee's cameo. I don't know if you guys listened, or I don't think if you listened to our live event about this, but there's some fan theories that say like Stan was actually playing himself in that scene, and that the
Wouldn't doubt
woman in the passenger seat is actually meant on purpose to look like his wife at that age. So it's kind of a great little moment. He doesn't do anything like profound or say anything profound, but it's him with his wife, driving off into the sunset with a "Nuff Said" bumper sticker on the back of the car. So that was really nice. Last thoughts for me, I'll just say that Endgame, I thought, fulfilled its purpose. It needed to really close the chapter on 22 films, and it did that in a very interesting way. I want to really have a lot of drama and emotion in superhero films, because we don't get that a lot. We just get a lot of very comic booky things time and time again that are a lot of fun. But when you can put in a lot of drama, a lot of emotion, we started out with Hawkeye's family being dustied, and
I cried during that.
that followed through for like the first half hour of the film. We have
You didn't like
superheroes.
that?
we have superheroes.
No, I
that-
did like that.
You're shaking your head. I was like,
But
what?
no, not. But you cried.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's where I'm like,
He's
wow.
got
Small
a
tear.
he's got a big
Wow,
heart.
man.
It's
He's
his
got a
family.
big heart.
It's his family. You shed
Yeah.
a tear.
He's got a big heart.
Okay.
I like the way it started, and I like the way it ended. I think you couldn't have imagined a better ending for Cap. You know, living a long life with Peggy, and
Yep.
it's not to say that Cap wasn't being Cap during that time either. He, for all we know, could have been still going on adventures with Peggy Carter. You know, during that timeline, and then
Still a plot hole. But
and then I love the way Robert goes out. RDJ, Tony Stark, he goes out committing the snap, whether or not it makes any sense, and he's the one that started this entire 22 film arc or saga, the Infinity Saga, and he's now the one that closes it by being the one to
Make the
make the
sacrifice.
sacrifice play, like we got in the Avengers line from Cap. So again, it's a must for me. I loved it, and I don't know where they go from here. Just a real quick fan speculation is that the snap, either that Thanos did at the beginning of the movie, or that I think it was that one, that the readings of the gamma radiation were so strong that the Avengers could actually, see it or detect it
Yeah.
using their measurements. And so now fans are speculating that, well, that's all gamma radiation, and that can all create mutants like Hulk. Hulk is a mutant. So maybe this is the way they introduce the X-Men and the rest of the Marvel character Bible, whatever you want to call it. So that's a definite possibility, but we'll see where they go from here. JC, last thoughts.
What was interesting to me, and I saw this too, going back and watching it. Thanos did his snap on the left hand to destroy. The Avengers used the right hand to bring everything back and to win that side. So I hated that because I'm left-handed. So you're trying to say left-handed evil, assholes.
Mutants.
I'm offended.
But yeah, I like they teased it in Far From Home. Are we getting the multiverse thing? Don't know. We'll wait and see. If you go see Endgame in theaters now you can stay for the end credits, and they will show the trailer for Far From Home after the end credits.
That's
now in
right, they did
theaters.
change
So
that.
They did change that. And while Infinity War is on Netflix, Endgame is going to be exclusive to stream on Disney Plus. I believe on December 11th is the date that it hits Disney Plus.
That's
That
right.
sucks.
That's a long ways away.
that
yeah,
sucks.
but you have to get Disney Plus to see Endgame.
Fucking Disney, man.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mouse.
everything.
They're gonna own the world
Can't
one day.
stand
Mouse
it.
is
Can't
the
stand
overlord.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just so we don't
Empire.
get too negatives at the end. Let's go, Rob, next.
What's wrong with ending on a
awake.
negativity note?
Wake up, Rob.
See you awake?
I'm here.
He got dusty.
Well, what do you want to know?
No,
Jesus.
What do you?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts on the film, sir.
Oh, sucked.
Any
Adeline.
Easter eggs? Anything else you wanted to call out?
Far From Home. What do you think?
Oh, Far From Home, dude. I'm excited.
Hey,
That's
That
another.
looks
there we go.
fantastic.
That's another
Yes.
conversation with you and Ellie, by the way.
Yeah.
With Iron Man in there
Yeah.
for like.
No,
moment.
the one trail or the one Easter egg I saw, I think before I saw the movie, I didn't really know what they were hinting at. But when they were all wearing their time suits
Mhm.
and their little hands were all red, it was like supposed to show or be Tony's original chest plate
Yep.
glowing thingy. I thought that was kind of lame, but whatever.
Very nice. Derek?
So once again, it's a must. Great movie, I think. But I think another cool part was when Thanos got his ass kicked. He's like rain fire
Oh, yeah.
and dropped
yeah, he got
missiles on his own
desperate.
team.
Mm,
Yeah.
I was kind
That
of
was
hoping
pretty cool.
I was kind of hoping she'll get the sword after he like took his armor off and the sword came back through his chest. I was kind of hoping for that.
That would have been awesome. I wouldn't have minded Scarlet Witch killing him at all. I'm like, that would have been
Dude,
fun.
I said it before. Elizabeth Olsen looked damn hot in that scene. I don't
Mhm.
know
There you
what
go.
it was, but she looked damn good doing that.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
And
hair.
last but definitely not least, Elliot, sir, your thoughts on the film. Final thoughts.
Like
make
I
it short.
s-
Make it short.
Like I said, it was
said enough
it wasn't a bad movie.
There you
All
go.
right, this whole thing was not to bash Endgame. Like I said, I still think it has many plot holes, and obviously they're still up for debate whether or not this happened or that happened. But like I said, I believe the movie was never consistent from Infinity War to Endgame, in my opinion.
Sure.
But yeah, it was just little things. I mean, I understand, like, they were giving a lot of kudos to Iron Man, even him discovering time travel when I thought it was clearly Ant-Man's idea, and then out of nowhere Tony just like, oh yeah, I did it. I discovered
Not
it.
that he discovered
took
it, but he
time. It took
discovered
time.
how to
It took a night.
build it, I guess. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here with that. But anyways,
The smartest man.
he's really not. But like I said, other than that, I thought it was good. Obviously, my favorite character, Spider-Man, does not get enough kudos. Like even just like simple things like
He saved Tony.
no. So like one thing I can't stand about like Tom Holland Spider-Man, one, like he always has to have the mask off. I don't know if you noticed that. Like every time he's Spider-Man for just a split second with the mask, but he's always has to take it off for
It's the
whatever
hair.
reason. I don't get it. He doesn't
Show that
have
pretty
to
face,
do
I
it.
guess. I don't know.
I can't. Yeah, it makes no sense,
He's-
right?
he's
And
only
then-
around superheroes in this movie.
And
Yeah.
then, and that's another thing is that he introduces himself as Peter Parker. Like, hey, Peter Parker. Like, it's always Peter Parker. Hi, I'm Peter Parker. Hi, I'm Peter Parker. Why do you keep saying you're Peter Parker when you have Spider-Man on? Like, stop doing that.
That's
like
the
that.
joke.
It
Humor.
It's not the character, is what I'm getting at.
I
It's-
get what he's saying. Peter Parker's always been very.
he
yeah.
is the most one with the secret identity. Like
Yeah.
if there, he cherishes that more than anything is with the identity, and he's just throwing his name out like hey guys, I'm Peter Parker here. What the fuck? Like,
Maybe
dude,
it's a
stop
habit-
that.
maybe
Put
it's
the
a
mask
habit
on.
that he does
Be Spider-Man.
in real life.
Anyways,
I get what you're saying.
That's what
Yeah.
those are just little things I can't stand about this MCU Spider-Man. So other than that, it's a just movie.
And we want to hear from you, so be sure to leave us a message or a comment on our social media. You can find us at Countdown to the Geekcast on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at CCG_podcast, and our YouTube channel where you're going to find this video and many, many more at Countdown to the Geeks. Shout out to AJ Nightwing, who just started his gaming channel. Check him out if you want to check out some middle schoolers playing Fortnite. Always a good
You're
time.
not ready.
Trash talking with Noobmaster 69. And
Is he real, by the way?
JC, before we close off, I know you wanted to bring up the Man of Steel real quick.
I do. Well, before that, I'll say Far From Home, my only thing I fear, and I know you don't like that version of MJ because you don't think it's MJ. I have a
It's not.
feeling she's going to die in that movie. And
I
I'm
hope she
very-
does. I hope she does. To be honest with you, Tom Holland should have stayed dead. So
My thing with the Man of Steel, I've been saying it since DC Universe launched, and I happened to check the universe, and I finally got it. If you have been a big fan of Smallville like myself, and you want to know what happened after Season 10 went off the air, the entire library of Smallville's Season 11 comics are now on the DC Universe streaming service.
Boom.
Go check it out to see an animated Tom Welling drawn and see how that story picks up 6 months after the events of the final episode of Smallville.
even Chloe's Court case.
Well, that's not in there,
Oh,
obviously.
okay.
Oh, no.
Chloe, not Allison Mack. It's very different, but it's really.
That's comic number 25.
Because I'm still waiting to see what happens. On that
That'll be
comic-
interesting.
on that series right there.
But what I'm enjoying about it, getting to read through all of them, they're not restricted by any TV rights. Batman shows up. Nightwing is in there, and it's not the Nightwing you expect either. So they are touching on a lot of things they couldn't get in on the TV show due to like TV rights and whatnot. So they're exploring a lot more of the DC universe with Clark as Superman in this. So it is
Fantastic.
pretty damn awesome. It's definitely worth the read. That's a must. I would say.
And we can't forget that Krypton's coming back.
Krypton is coming back in. God, less than a month now.
And so is Young Justice.
Young Justice. Yeah.
July.
No one
So-
cares.
And that's Rob.
That's
and no, a lot of great more reviews coming up. I know Rob wants to talk about Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
Yep.
his buddy.
Yeah,
Godzilla-
that was
bro.
pretty good.
That movie was great.
Godzilla's
That movie was
coming
better
out.
than Endgame.
I have to agree. I'd be more than happy to sit through Pikachu again.
I'm ready for Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Dark
I'm
Phoenix.
excited for
We'll
Dark Phoenix,
we'll give it a
yes.
shot. Hopefully, it's better than
Well,
what people are expecting.
My kids' daycare has a parents' night out that night. My wife and I are already making plans, so we're gonna get
Boom.
to see that. The night.
June
It's gonna be
7th,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
June 7th.
June
believe so.
7th, and then Aladdin in a few weeks actually.
a lot of Disney films coming out.
Yep.
Yeah, Disney.
So again, thanks for hanging out with us during this episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. Be sure to send
Mouse
us
needs
your
money.
final comments on Endgame, and it's just a matter of time before it takes the #1 movie of all time spot, replacing Avatar with the number one spot.
I think it would have with
Ever.
the bootleg version.
Well, let's just be clear on that though. That does not make it a better
We're
movie.
gonna start counting
All right.
bootleg
There
downloads.
are plenty
as potential
of
domestic buys.
bad
With that bootleg
movies
version,
that
it
made
ruined
money.
half the
Oh
sales.
man.
There are plenty of
Lord.
bad movies
Oh,
that
man.
made money.
For the countdown to the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this tremendous episode, our Endgame roundtable discussion, all my pals Eliud, Coach Derek,
Victor.
the man, the
Thor.
myth,
Thor there.
Thor.
the legend, JC,
Thanks for watching / listening. We'll see you next time.
and about to get on his plane to come back from Hong Kong, it's Rob.
Man, I guess Elliot and Derek need a couple more episodes to realize they need a sign-off
Yes.
slogan, huh?
Oh well, why
It'll
don't y'all
get there.
tell us?
It'll get there.
You gave them. We don't gotta tell you.
Hey, this is Ted's show, man. I'm not trying to, take any credit or anything. Or
Robert.
you gotta let me know.
Hey, bro, check it out. Thanks for listening.
Have a good night, everybody. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, AJ Nyland here. For more Geekcast episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes or your smart device podcast app. And please, write us a review. Be sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Countdown City Geekcast. Follow us on Twitter at ccg_podcast or visit our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. See you later, guys.